Greetings everybody and welcome here to Prog Monster. My name is Murph. I am the host of this show, a show dedicated to progressive rock and other forms of rock music. So we're here with our September series that we've been doing for the entire month. It's called The Other Prog War. This is battle number 19 on day number 19. And it's actually the third battle in the round 2. Today as we've had the last couple days, I've had splitting hairs to put in the previous 2 victors. So much so that I feel bad that I had to kick those other 2 bands out. And it's going to even be tougher today because both of these bands I envisioned being among the final 3 or 4 bands. But one of them isn't going to be there. And I listened to both albums again. Both as good as I thought, maybe better in some cases. So all I can do is the slight minuses that you're going to actually get here. So the 2 bands that we're dealing with today are I'm going to get this wrong because it's just a stupid name, but Grindrolong and their album Lady Lake from 1972 on RCA Records. Very good album. Absolutely love it. The album cover I looked at a lot more this time. Really foreboding. You know, you've got this swan in the forefront on a lake overlooked by an ice kind of rock cliff with a somewhat destroyed house on the edge of it, or a castle. I'm not sure what you want to call it, and a huge hand coming out of the water like this towards the goose. Yeah, very foreboding, at least for the goose anyway. Or not the goose, it's a swan, I'm sure of it. It's white with black around it. That's a swan. Yeah, and the music is almost medieval. A lot of medieval feeling to this, almost a King Arthur kind of feel to this album. Very British too. Like, the guy's vocals are very British. The twinning vocals I think are actually a little bit better. They add some strength to his voice, which I think is a bit of a thin voice, but it's the one kind of negative on here, but they do cover it up quite nicely with the backing vocals. Okay, so you've got the 2 brothers Colin and Stuart here, Goldring, who've actually just taken their name and flipped the letters around. I think they added an extra O or something to the name just to make to me, Goldring sounds like a better name for a band than Grindrolong. That sounds kind of weird, but anyways, it's the one kind of negative. There's a few negatives on this, but the positives far outweigh them. There's a lot of pastoral sound on this album at times, very kind of country-ish side, folky if you want. It's got a real British tinge and feel to it. It's the quality of the production is okay. It's not bad, and it has the clarity is same. It's okay. Like, it's not a detriment, I don't think, but it's not fantastic either. The flute is very solid and it's somewhat dominating throughout this album, I think. You've got lots of quirky kind of sounds to some of the later tracks as well. But there's some sax in here at points. There's some horns in here at points. I don't remember hearing any violin, and I've made no notes of it in my notes, so I'm assuming I didn't hear any violin. But the album just is very captivating, captures your imagination. You're just listening to it intently, like I was trying to hear everything that was going on. It does have some, like I said, some quirky noises to it at times, and some of the tracks are a bit strange, but other than that, overall, a very dominating album, I find. I think this is definitely a band that I'm going to be looking to get this album and then whatever other stuff they may have. Fantastic band. So their their challenger or their rival for this show is a band I felt equally as strong about, Hypnos 69 and their Legacy album. I was hoping these two wouldn't match up right away because I had a feeling they both could go a long way, but unfortunately one of them is going to pass into oblivion from this tournament anyways. Okay, this album, I couldn't find a releasal date for it, so I put the one here, 2022. I'm sure that that is not the releasal date. The production and the sound on this album are absolutely spot on. Really good sounds. Some really great tracks. The opening track, Requiem, is a song that belongs in there with Close to the Edge and Supper's Ready and 2112 and all those classic kind of prog epics. I mean, it doesn't got the notoriety obviously, and it may never get the kind of listen to that those do, but it's so good. Such a great track. By itself it's a dominating thing. The vocals are kind of metal-like, scratchy. I find this a heavier album, but the instrumentation is awesome. The bass is absolutely fantastic on this song, and the album in general really good. The album cover, I did study that a bit more this time too. So you've got this kind of drawing of a naked woman in a pool of, looks like red, so it's, I'm assuming it's blood. There's blood on her and stuff like that, and then it's got a psychedelic background to it, so it's almost foreboding as well. So you have two really foreboding album covers, and this music is really, some at points has a real kind of Sabbath feel to the music, and then at other points it's really jazzy feel to it. So they go from lots of ranges here, lots of flute, lots of organ, lots of vibraphone. I'm assuming that's what it is. And the vocals at times are very frontal, very strong, really snarly almost at some points. And I really like this album a lot. Like, it's a killer album. It beat out Ragnarok on its first round. Really strong. So both these albums are among the strongest ones in the tournament, and it's just trying to find a wedge or a hair between them to decide which one to go out first and which one to stay in. Either way, whatever one goes in, it's going to be strong competition for the people, for the groups coming ahead of it. And for the one that goes out, I'm going to feel absolutely bad that this album didn't get past the second round, when it's definitely like almost a championship album. So for me, like, what are the big factors for these two bands? Okay, so Requiem, the opening track for Hypnosis, is absolutely stunning. I really think this is one of the great tracks. Needs to be heard more of. Dominating. The rest of the album is good too, but this is the gem of the album in my opinion. With the Ganindro along, they are strong through from beginning to end. Maybe a little stronger overall than this album, but they don't have anything like a Requiem on there. The vocals on this album are really good. On the Hypnos 69 album is really good for the type of music they're singing. It's almost metal like. The other album, more pastoral vocals, not so good, but the twinning vocals are quite good on that album as well. They have a lot more different types of instruments. This one has a lot too, but not quite as many, I think. And so it just came down to which one did I feel, because there's no separating them. There's not a lot to separate these two from quality. This one sounds a little better too, but that one definitely has that Arthur feel, which is really appealing to me, and a very British feel, and I tend to be pro-British, where this band, I believe, is Belgian. Yeah, they're Belgian. yeah, it's still a tough thing, but I'm my gut and my feeling is that I'm gonna go with Ganindra Long. I'm gonna regret this, I know it, because this Hipgnosis album is unlike anything I've heard in the tournament. It's so strong. But I'm gonna go with that one because I just think that one is that one's good enough to match it here, and I think it's going to get stronger as it goes along, as I listen to it more. So, for this battle, Ganindra Long's Lady Lake and their Swan with giant fist or giant hand coming out of the water wins over Hypno 69, snarly, really kind of heavy prog with its Lady in Blood in front of a psychedelic. And both these are fantastic albums. If I definitely have to hear more of these two bands. These are two bands that have come out of this that I really love. So I'm not going to go on about it anymore. That's my choice. Ganindra Long moves along, and Hipgnosis in the scrap bin. Unbelievable. Yeah. So make your comments below, and really listen to these two albums if you can. Just hear what you're hearing. It's really good stuff. So hit the like button, hit the subscription button. We will see you with the next battle tomorrow morning. Take care and have a good one.